What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Will Silverman podcast. I want to, again, thank you guys for listening. And on today's podcast, we got some NFL picks. We got an update in the Pick'em League that I'm in with my dad. And we're going to end the podcast with some NBA topics from the first two nights. I'm currently recording this on Thursday night as the Thunder are playing the Pacers, the Vikings are playing the Chargers, and then the Nuggets game is later tonight. And then we'll have some NBA topics, and then we'll end with little personal stuff about my week. So yeah, let's get into that, and we'll start with the NFL. Okay. Time to talk NFL. A lot of games this week. A lot of not so great games, I would honestly say. I'd say the best two games of the week are probably going to be the Thursday night game, which, as you're listening to this, has already happened. And then the Sunday night game, Packers-Steelers, very big game. My Cowboys actually have one of the bigger games of the week, I would say, and playing the Broncos on the road. So, yeah, let's start Cowboys. So road game for the Cowboys starting in Denver. We haven't been great on the road. We have won we've won two of the three games at home. We tied the Green Bay game. Then we only have the win on the road against the Jets. Got blown out against the Bears, and then lost a close one opening night to Philly. Dak's career, he has always been way, way better on the road or at home than on the road. In fact, a lot of it has to do with turf versus grass. I saw a stat. I believe his record in games played on turf and versus games played on grass, it was like unbelievable splits. Here, let me see if I can find the stat. I could not find the stat, sadly, but basically it was Dak at home versus Dak road stats. It was just like this whole breakdown of Dak stats, and obviously I know as a Cowboys fan, you know just how good he is at home versus how he is on the road. For this Cowboys game, I first of all want to say I think we get the job done. I think we win. I think it's a close game, but I've picked Dallas every week, so I'm biased, obviously. I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, lifelong. But I want to say a couple things. One, I don't think the defense turned a corner or anything, but I do think after the Panthers game, I thought the defense quit on Eberflus. I came on here, I was like, we quit on Eberflus. The defense is done. We're done for the year. After that game, after the Commanders game, I'm not so sure. The Commanders game, first of all, a lot more man defense. We played 45% man versus 55% zone, which was massive. You saw the cornerbacks just being way more comfortable. Bland specifically looked way more comfortable in man. He said it over and over again. Diggs has said it. Diggs didn't play against Washington, but pretty much all of our corners have just said over and over again they're way more comfortable playing man than they are zone. Donovan Wilson wasn't put in the bad positions because we had him lower to the line of scrimmage, which was nice. We had him in the linebacker areas, and then we also he wasn't just roaming around like he had him pretty much the rest of the year, where he just is clearly bad at that. And then the defensive The D-line got a little pressure. I'm not saying it was awesome, but they got a little bit of pressure, which is outside of the Jets game. It's just been no pressure, and they blitzed a few times. So I want to start with just that. The defense did look a little better. Denver's tricky. They've shown flashes in fourth quarters. You're like, whoa, this team is a real contender in the AFC. And then you watch their first three quarters against the Giants, or their first three quarters against Philly, or really just their whole, like the last quarter against the Chargers, and you're like, what is this team? Bo Nix is, there's nothing, I saw Nick Wright say this, there's nothing the opposing team likes to see more than Bo Nix missing a wide open guy on a deep ball in the first quarter. You're like, all right, that's just going to be him. If you can keep him in the pocket, he is a below average quarterback at best. He is very bad when you keep him in the pocket. I don't know if Dallas is going to be able to keep him in the pocket. That's where actually I think the zone defense will help, because if you play more zone, then you'll be able to, it's harder for a quarterback to rush against zone defense. But he just is clearly, when he's outside of the pocket and scrambling around is when he does all of his damage. Inside the tackles, he is not the same guy. On the road, I get it. So I'm a little worried about Dallas on the road. And that Denver defense, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are going to have to fight for every single yard, every single catch. I think it's going to be a dogfight with them. I mean, Surtain, obviously, best corner in the league. I expect Nick Bonito to get a lot of pressure on Dak, although the Cowboys' offensive line has just looked better and better. Finally healthy. Got Tyler Smith and Tyler Booker back last week. That was big. Steele played all the games. So I'm excited as a Cowboy fan. It's the first game outside of week 1 and week 2 who I've been genuinely excited to watch them play. The Jets game I was, but the Jets game was like, the Jets game was more nerves. It was like, we can't lose to the Jets. The Panthers game, it was the same, and then we lost. So all of the excitement was bled out, and then the Commander game was post-Panthers loss, and I thought the season was over. This game is a real stepping stone for Dallas. If you beat Denver, you have Arizona the week after, and then you got the bye, and it's like, if you're 5-3-1 going into the bye in a division that is shaky, clearly the Giants are out of it, assuming they just, who knows? It's just the Giants. It's a roller coaster. Darts played well, but we'll get to them later. Washington, Daniels looks like he's going to be out for a few more weeks. Injury questions. They have a tough schedule. And then Philly, who's shaky at best. I know they're 5-2, but they've looked beatable in every game. And you can argue, if CeeDee Lamb catches the ball, you should have beat them on the road. Dak hasn't lost a home division game, and he's 16-0 in his last 16 division home games. If you're 5-3-1 heading into the bye, and you somehow make an upgrade on defense, and I expect the Cowboys to make an upgrade to the defense. I don't know how, I don't know with who, but I expect a semi-large name to be traded to Dallas. This Cowboys team can win the division. And with the way that offense is playing, I say this to anybody who asks me. My friends ask me every week, what do you think about the Cowboys? What do you think about the Cowboys? The Cowboys can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody. With that offense, you can beat any team in the NFL. You can make an argument they're the best offense in the NFL right now. You have a top 3 or 4 receiver when he's healthy, CeeDee Lamb. You have George Pickens, who's playing like the best wide receiver in the NFL. His stats say he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Javonte Williams, who's second in rushing right now. Revenge game for him, by the way, this weekend. An offensive line that looks awesome. And Dak, who's playing like the best quarterback in football. He's playing, I don't think he is the best quarterback in football, but he's playing as good as any quarterback is right now in the NFL. And then the exact opposite you could say about the defense. You can make an argument that, think about Denver. How many of our defensive players start for Denver? 1, maybe 2. Deron Bland, slot corner, and Kenny Clark or Osadigizua, D-tackle. That's probably it. None of our other corners start. None of our safeties start. None of our linebackers start. So, number 1 offense, worst defense. That's just kind of where you are, and that sets up with you can beat anybody, you can lose to anybody. You always have a shot with that offense, and you always give the other team a shot with that defense. But this week, I expect Bo Nix isn't good enough to make me be scared. You could have said the same thing about Bryce Young 2 weeks ago. But I think Bryce Young's better than Bo Nix so far this year. And I don't know. Something about Dallas. I think Denver wearing the retro jerseys helps because they're wearing their throwbacks. We haven't beaten them since 1995. They're in the throwback uniforms, which is the uniforms they wore last time we beat them. Something's making me think it's all about the Cowboys this weekend. But again, I would not be shocked if we lost. Okay. What is biggest storylines of the weekend? Steelers, Packers, Aaron Rodgers, first game against the Packers. Sadly, he will not be making his return to Lambeau as this game is in Pittsburgh. And let's talk about it. Let's talk Rodgers. As many of you guys know, and if you don't know, you can probably figure this out. I'm a Cowboy fan. So I grew up disliking Aaron Rodgers. He ripped my heart out 2014 year. Technically, 2015 actual year, but 2014 season and the 2016 season with the Jared Cook catch and the Dez Bryant caught it game. Ripped my heart out. He lost the Cowboys all of one time, and it was Dak's rookie year. We still haven't beaten the Packers in Jerry World yet. They are undefeated in Jerry World with the tie. But I am a big-time Mike Tomlin supporter. I am just everything he's done. I picked him to make the playoffs this year, which many people were not saying. I think that they're actually going to win a playoff game, and I still feel comfortable in saying that. And something about Rodgers right now, maybe it's me being nostalgic and realizing that his time in the NFL is coming to an end. And I just love whenever I see him feeling like I'm 12 years old again. Because who doesn't love a little nostalgia in their life? But something about him on the Steelers has made me turn around on him a little bit. I kind of love him now. He is just, and he has been outstanding so far this year. I really think not even the biggest Aaron Rodgers supporters would tell you that they thought he was going to be this good. this year. He has been unbelievable so far to start the year. And I mean, they're averaging about 25 points a game. Great completion percentage. I mean, he's got a quarterback rating of 105. He's been great. I really think that I don't think you can say anything. You couldn't ask for anything more from him. And what's funny is you saw the report, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, that they're looking for another weapon. It's kind of similar to Dallas now. We're looking for a pass rusher. They're looking for another weapon. George Pickens would be nice to have on this roster, wouldn't you think? Now, the Micah issue is something entirely else. I don't love we're just getting back to the Cowboys now, but the fact, I don't think we would be doing this if we had Micah. I think some of the players on the team did not like Micah. And I think money-wise, he's not worth the $47 million. So no matter who else we get, I'd gladly take the 2 first-round picks and have a guy we're paying $20 or $30 million and keep the cap space to be able to play other players. Anyway, back to Rodgers and the Steelers. I really like the Steelers in this game. I think they're going to win. I think it's the defense has a lot of questions. Joe Flacco diced them up. Stats-wise, they're pretty middle of the road. But in the games where their defense makes the wow plays, because on paper, their defense should be a lot better. Mike Tomlin, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Jalen Ramsey, their defense should be better on paper. But I think they rely a little bit more on, you see it a lot in the NFL, you see it a lot with offense, you rely on the chunk plays, big explosive plays on offense. The defense, this team is very, I wouldn't say they're turnover reliant, but I do think that when the games were whoa, their defense is awesome, it hasn't been them doing what they normally do, which is they stifle. A couple years ago, their defense didn't get a lot of turnovers, but it would stifle other teams. It'd be you wouldn't be able to really move the ball. This defense is the opposite, where you watch them play the Patriots, you're oh, this defense is better, is back to what a Mike Tomlin defense should be. And they are allowing yards, and they are allowing big explosive plays, but they're getting those turnovers and those sacks. I really think that this young Packer team is very susceptible to making those mistakes. I've been selling Packers stock all year. I was selling it post Micah trade. I was selling them and shorting them, and they're 3-1-1, but they haven't looked their schedule's been dirt easy. You beat a Lions team week 1, and you get all the credit for that. You get all the credit in the world for that. You dominated the Lions. That was a must-win for you guys, honestly, in my opinion. Outside of that, you have lost to the Browns, you tied us, and you should have lost to the Cardinals, and you looked very shaky in that game. You looked shaky against the Bengals with Flacco, and then you beat a Commanders team that doesn't look very good so far this season. It's not as good as we thought coming into the year. Jordan Love is, when it's not a Josh Jacobs offense, when it's Jordan Love make a play for us, we haven't seen him be able to do that. He made an awesome throw to close the game out against Cincy, and he made one big throw on a third down against Arizona last week that should have been an OPI, but they didn't get called. And I don't know. I'm not. I think really what it comes down to is if the Steelers can stop the run. If they stop Josh Jacobs, I think that this is going to be a Steeler win. And I just expect Rodgers to have one of those old, I expect him to go back in the tank, get in the time machine, and it's going to be old Aaron Rodgers. And he's going to be running out there, doing the little spin moves, slinging it. Expect a big game from DK Metcalf. And I'm feeling a massive, massive game for the Steelers and a win that would define their season so far. I mean, this would be a statement win for Pittsburgh, for a team that a lot of people have a lot of questions about, to say the least, especially after the loss to Cincy last week. Extra rest for a guy that needs it. Tomlin, a couple more days to prepare. The Thursday to Sunday, like teams coming off a Thursday night game, I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. You hear a lot about short week, Sunday to Thursday. You hear a lot from coaches, players, media people being like, this is one of the more deadly things for an NFL team, more sloppy games. You don't hear that a lot about a Thursday to Sunday where a team's coming off a Thursday night game. I feel like most of the time, this is completely eye test. I have no stats to back me up. I want to preface that. But eye test wise, I feel like a team coming off a Thursday night game always plays substantially better with a couple more extra days to rest, coaches more time to prepare. Then, I mean, Packers, coming back from Arizona too, flying to Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Steelers, and I feel great about it. I'm thinking a huge Rodgers game. I'm thinking Pittsburgh stops the run. It's make Jordan Love beat us, and I don't think he can. All right, let's talk some other games. Okay, let's talk Bears-Ravens. Again, as you know, huge Caleb guy. Massive Caleb guy. Ravens coming off the bye, getting the home game. Kind of needing to, really needing to right the ship. If you told Ravens fans coming into the year that you'd be 1-5 facing the Bears in week 7, or week 8, actually, my bad. I think they would be shocked, to say the least. I think they would think that there's a better chance that the earth is exploded. 1-5, and Lamar's been injured, so I do understand that. But I mean, you're 1-3 with him healthy, and you get embarrassed against the Chiefs. This is a game where it's do or die if you're the Ravens. If you lose this game, coming off the bye, getting Lamar back against a Bears team that is a suspect 4-2 team, to say the least. I don't think anyone thinks they're a real 4-2 team, as much as it pains me to say that as a Bears supporter and a Bears someone who has the Bears and who had the Bears in the playoffs coming into the year. But this game to me, all about Lamar getting and the Ravens getting their identity back, just trying to right the ship on defense a little bit, get a little healthier, just make the Bears work for it, make Caleb beat you, and if he does, then he does. And it's all about Lamar and getting that offense going back when he's fully healthy. Derrick Henry, run game, play action, just everything that we know this Ravens team to be under Lamar Jackson. And I think they get the job done. And at home especially, I think, quiet a little bit of the doubters. But yeah, I think Ravens by a touchdown. I really expect not a blowout statement, but a very emphatic win, I would say, from Baltimore. I would say this isn't like I said by a touchdown. This isn't a Lamar drives him down the field late to win. This is they're up 10 to 14 points the whole game, and maybe the Bears get a late touchdown and try and kick it onside with 30 seconds left. This is a very dominant win. Emphatic. We deserve to be here, and we're going to get the ship going a little bit back from the Ravens. And it has to be. If this isn't it for the Ravens, then your season's over. If you lose this game, the season's over. You're in that big of a hole on with the division. You're 3 games back. You are just hoping and praying every time the Steelers lose is a chance to gain. And I know it's still early, but you got to start stacking some wins soon. And I expect you to get the job done this week. And it does pain me to say that as a Caleb guy. But right now, I want to say this. Caleb has looked better. He's clearly looked better under Ben Johnson in the new system. But right now, I do kind of feel they're winning. They're not winning despite Caleb, but he's not the reason they're winning. He's game managing. I wouldn't say despite, it's not like he's playing bad. He's playing fine. But he's not the reason they're winning games. He's the reason they won the Cowboys game. He drove them down the field to beat the Raiders. He didn't make any mistakes against the Commanders. He didn't make a lot of mistakes against the Saints. But he's not the reason they won those 3 games. But when he does become the reason they're winning games and the reason they're staying in games, which I do believe is in him still, I think you got a few chances to have that happen. This Bears team could be really scary. They're getting the run game back. They're getting that defense is looking a lot better. Ben Johnson has these boys and this fan base believing in him, which is something you cannot say has happened for the Bears since 2018, and before that, closer to 2011, 2012. I have not seen a Bears fan base this excited since 2018 under Matt Nagy and Mitch Trubisky. And if you're the Bears and you somehow pull this off, who can't you beat? I mean, seriously, if you win this game and you are the Chicago Bears, who can't you beat? You have a lot of momentum. I mean, look, 4-0. You're on a 4-game winning streak, and you got we talked about it last week. You have a very easy you have an easy next few games after this. I mean, you play the Ravens this week or on Sunday, and then you got the Bengals and the Giants in the next two, and you're staring at a position where even if you drop this game, you are a 6-3 team playing Minnesota. And that's an awesome place to be if you're Chicago. I can honestly say I think you can't be happier if you're Chicago than where you are right now. You cannot be happier. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be a Bears fan. And I want to say this. I was a little iffy on Caleb's stock post week 2. Back on week 3, back on week 4. If you're selling anything after that Saints game, I'm still buying stock. Give it to me. Give me every Caleb Williams stock you have. I'm going to build an island. I'm going to be on. It might be Caleb Williams Island right now. I am. Give it all. Give it all to me. Okay, those are my 3 main breakdowns from the games. Those are probably the 3 biggest games of the week, I would say. So I'm going to run through the rest of the games, give my picks, and, just a little information. All right. What's the next game? Bills-Panthers. Honestly, this is a fascinating game for me. Bills off a bye and 2 straight losses versus a Panthers team that's coming in hot. And a Panthers team that's very, very strong against running the ball. And a Bills team that has one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL. It's a Panthers team that ran all over my Dallas Cowboys 2 weeks ago. And Rico Dowdle, just an unbelievable 2 weeks, honestly. Runs all over the Dolphins, runs all over my Cowboys. I wouldn't say he ran all over the Jets, but he had a good game against the Jets. And just something I never saw from him playing in Dallas. I want to say that. I never saw this from him in Dallas. Last year, he was mediocre at best. This Panthers team, man, 580 rushing yards in their last 3 games. Bills, horrible against the run, 31st ranked defense. But I think Andy Dalton probably is going to start. Don't know for sure, but it looks that way so far. And I do not expect this Bills defense or this Bills team with Josh Allen to lose to Andy Dalton and lose 3 in a row, especially in an AFC East that looks like it could be a toss-up. We'll get to the Patriots in a couple games. This Patriots team is for real. This Patriots team is very good. Team I picked to make the playoffs. But I do think Buffalo bounces back, gets the win on the road, and I do think it'll be close, though. I think Panthers lose by a field goal, maybe 4. So yeah, Buffalo. I don't know. This Buffalo team's intriguing. Man. All right. Jets Bengals, just a gross game. Bengals coming in hot. But just really one of the grosser games of the week. Probably the grossest game of the week. Outside of maybe this versus Dolphins Dolphins Falcons for grossest game of the week. That might be a that might be a segment coming. Just grossest game of the week. Who doesn't love a gross football game, to be honest? I love watching just two bad. It's fun to me. I don't know. Something about two bad NFL teams playing just kind of gets me a little juiced up. Just the thought of them playing a little old school football excites the little kid in me. But yeah, this is a horrible guy. Winless Jets, Bengals coming off momentum, but the biggest storyline of here is Tyrod Taylor now most likely not playing. He might actually be 100% out. Let me look to make sure. Most likely not playing. And Jets owner Woody Allen this week saying, with a guy like I'm paraphrasing, with a guy like Justin Fields at quarterback, it's hard to win games. And Justin Fields might be having to get the start. Just electric storylines in New Jersey right now. All-time stuff for the Jets. And just when you didn't think it could get any worse, I saw a thing tonight about Quinn Williams maybe getting traded. So, loved it. Love to see it for the Jets. And, yeah, I'm taking the Bengals to win, but I do think it'll be a gross game, and I think the Jets keep it close. Texans-Niners, actually a very, another interesting game to me. 49ers just keep getting wins. Despite the injuries, they just keep winning. Houston, every time you think, maybe they're coming back a little bit, they just lay an egg. Seattle was begging them to win that game Monday. Darnold just kept making mistakes. And that Seahawks defense was just murdering CJ Stroud. That Seahawks defense is unbelievable. Mike McDonald, a guy I've been high on. Just unbelievable stuff from him. One of the best coaches in the NFL. I think it's safe to say that right now. One of the best coaches in the NFL. Elite stuff from him. Give me Houston. I picked against San Francisco last week. I didn't feel good about it. I am really scared about Kyle Shanahan knowing DeMeco Ryans' system and just being able to just do whatever he wants to it. Because it's a big coaching game to me. But I Houston at home, the Niners defense isn't good enough to make the Houston offensive line just be horrible. If they had Bosa and Fred Warner, I'd feel way differently. This could be a mistake. I keep fading the Niners, but I like Houston here. I like Houston by a touchdown, field goal maybe. Yeah, I like Houston here. And last week I was a little like maybe Houston can make a divisional run. It's over for Houston. You're not making the playoffs. You're not making the division. I think Houston's dead, but I do expect them to get this win. All right. Giants-Eagles. Kind of a very, very interesting game. Another interesting but not big game, I would say. Giants 2 weeks ago beats Philly in New Jersey, coming off a huge devastating loss to the Broncos. But Jackson Dart A lot of questions. I had some maturity questions. I had some leadership questions. I had Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss quarterback questions. He's looked great. He's looked great. He's made a couple mistakes you expect from a rookie quarterback. But ever since he's come in, he's brought a lot of juice. He's brought belief. And he's looked awesome. Philly's vulnerable. You had a big win last week. Congratulations. You beat Carson Wentz and the Vikings offense, who is bad. Carson Wentz stinks. I'm recording this right now. Chargers are up 7-0, and they're driving the ball. They stink. This offense stinks. You need J.J. McCarthy back, although I don't know if he's much better. So, congratulations to Philadelphia. Saying that, I do expect Philly to win here. I think a rookie and a Giants team that has a lot of mood swings, I would say. You can just tell with the juice that they have with Dart versus what they were with Russ. Mitchell back in this game, which he wasn't last time they played. I expect Philly to win at home, and but I do think they win, but Giants keep it close. I don't know. Eagles by a field goal, probably what I would say. Browns Patriots next. Patriots team that everyone's falling in love with right now. But I want to ask, who was there week 1 singing their praises before the season started? Me. Who was singing Drake May's praises before the year started, saying he had the potential to be the best rookie or sophomore quarterback in this class? Me. Who was singing the praises of Mike Vrabel? Me. Who's saying he's going to get this defense right and get this defense right fast? Me. Even to my Patriot fans, I picked the Raiders week 1 because I said it might take a little bit of time. Gonzo's hurt. I get it. I said this team, this offense, this quarterback, this coach, you're going to get it right. You're going to make the playoffs. I said after week 1 loss, I told him it's going to be okay. Give Vrabel some time. I said week 3, give him some time. I had the Steelers in that game too. No one has a better read on the New England Patriots than me. Nobody in the world, in sports media specifically, which I'm officially in now, we got the podcast going, has a better read on the New England Patriots than I do. And I'm telling you right now, this Patriots team is legit. They are for real. I expect them to blow out the Browns. Execution, just better. Browns defense, amazing. But Browns offense, horrible. Patriots just going to keep winning, keep improving. Even, last week, started off a little slow. Maybe Titans, new coach, interim coach theory, doesn't matter. Drake May, Mike Vrabel, Chris Gonzalez, Patriots, Stephon Diggs, Patriots. I love the Patriots here. And think they win and win easily. The Browns need to run the ball to win games, and I don't think they'll be able to run the ball. I really think it's that simple, and I think the Patriots' offense is that good. I think it's that good. Falcons, Dolphins, probably this again, one of the grosser games. A Dolphins team, Tua's got to stop talking. Someone needs to tell him Wednesday quarterback press conferences, quit trying to talk about what's going on with the team. Just quit talking about leadership issues and coaching questions. Hey, I want to say a little thing. Tua, you're the franchise quarterback, or you're supposed to be the franchise quarterback. You're, by default, supposed to be the leader. So whenever you're like, oh, we got guys showing up late to practice, showing up late to meetings, not coming to players-only meetings, that's a you problem. That's not a let's call them out problem. And even if you were calling them out, shouldn't you do that in private, not over on the Wednesday quarterback press conference? Your main if you're the quarterback of an NFL team, your two biggest media things Sunday after the game is post-game press conference, Wednesday press conference practice questions, and in those you have just called out players and you've just kept doing it. You're calling out players, you're calling out coaches. You're just telling on yourself is what you're doing. You're saying I'm a bad leader. And this is a Dolphins team that burned me bad last week. I didn't think that they were really that bad. Going in that Browns game, I was like, I think the Browns are really bad. I don't think the Dolphins are that bad. I kind of thought, the offense is fine, defense is whatever. I thought they were soft, but I think they were bad. They were horrible in that game. It looked like the worst team in the NFL. So it's all Atlanta. It's an Atlanta team, home versus away, just massive difference. Atlanta at home, Penix at home, Bijan at home. Give me the Falcons and give me the Falcons. Give me the Falcons by 10. Although Tua inside, Tua closed conditions, I do think helps. I don't believe actually that he has week 1 against the Colts indoors, and he stunk. That was probably one of the worst games of his career. But yeah, this Falcons defense is legit. Falcons defense, one of the best units in the NFL, and then Bijan, I just expect him to run all over that Dolphins soft defense. Although this is a do or die game for Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins. I think if you get embarrassed here, you're looking at a firing soon, which is probably coming anyway. Tampa, New Orleans, Saints at home, coming off some rough games. Buccaneers didn't look the best last Monday, short week. This is really, I think this is a bounce back game for the Bucs on the road. I think this is a get right game for Baker after worst game of the week or worst game of the season so far. Big Ibuka game coming, big Baker game coming, big game from I think a big rushing game for Bucky Irving and Rashard White, which I believe Bucky is coming back this week, but I could be wrong. Let me check. Bucky not coming back, so I'm wrong. But yeah, I still expecting a big game from the Bucs this week, and yeah, give me the Bucs, and give me the Bucs by touchdown. Okay, last game, and one of the sadder games. Actually, we got the Monday night game. Last of the Sunday, Titans Colts. Colts look legit. A lot of questions I've had from them, but they just keep answering them. I mean, they are a busted coverage they are busted coverage, Tutu Atwell touchdown, and an A.D. Mitchell fumble right in front of the goal line, drop ball away from being undefeated. Their offense, stats-wise, is the best in the NFL. Their defense is unbelievable. They embarrassed the Titans last time they played them. That was a game where I thought, maybe the Titans keep it close a little bit. They embarrassed the Titans at home. Now they got them in Indy. I expect just a massive Jonathan Taylor game. I expect a, good Daniel Jones play action. I think the Colts win here pretty convincingly. Colts by 10. And then Monday night game, Chiefs at home. Commanders not healthy. Commanders shaky. Commanders, Marcus Mariota. A Chiefs team that I went on record after that game against Baltimore. They are winning the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are back. And I didn't waver. I did not waver. Jags game, I was little, could have been better, but I didn't waver. I said, after the Jags, big win against the Lions, embarrassed the Raiders. Chiefs. They are the number one team in the NFL. They are winning the Super Bowl. Mahomes MVP. All as I predicted. The number one mind in sports media. The number one mind in the NFL. We're not wavering. Chiefs big again here. I think they do the same thing they did to the Raiders. I think it's a picture-perfect Patrick game. Give me the Chiefs. And Chiefs by 10. And I think the Commanders score a late touchdown to keep it close, or to keep the number not as bad. Okay, so that's it for the NFL. And we are going to get to some NBA topics from the first two nights of games. And yeah, let's get into that next. Okay, NBA topics after the first 2 days of games. Let's start game one, Rockets Thunder. A Rockets team that I was very high on pre-Fred VanVleet injury. Freddie gets hurt, and a lot of questions came in my mind because we'll get to it later, specifically with my Mavericks. But in my opinion, you need to have a point guard to run a team. And I was skeptical about who their guard would be, but you kind of saw it a lot from Amin Thompson. He jumped off the screen to me in that game. The two guys in that game where I was like, whoa, improvement from last year were him and Sengun. I thought both of them were absolutely incredible to see. And the thing about both their games is, I mean, Sengun had the stats to blow you away. I mean, even just watching him, the threes, the big buckets. But Thompson didn't really watch, or without watching the game, you just looked at the box score. You're like, 18 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. He's minus 11. You're not like, oh my goodness. Look in the box score with Sengun. You're like, holy crap. 39 points, 7 assists, 11 rebounds. Advanced stats, even better for Sengun. 5 threes. But watching the game from Thompson, dribbling the ball up, being the ball handler and playmaker for the team, the slashing, the defense that he played on SGA, I mean, he stifled SGA through 3 quarters. SGA had less than 10 points at halftime. When was the last time you saw that? He looked... It's not like SGA wasn't trying to score either. I mean, SGA had a rhythm throughout the whole game until he gets banged up in the end. And that's when SGA goes crazy in overtime. And towards the end of the fourth quarter, I thought Thompson was unbelievable. And it really made me, pre-Freddie injury, I had a clear top 3. I had Nuggets, Thunder, and Rockets as a clear top 3 in the West specifically, but really just the NBA. Post Van Vliet injury, I kind of thought it dropped them down a little bit, trying to into that Minnesota tier with the Knicks and the Cavs and the Magic, and then it was a clear 1 and 2 with Thunder and Nuggets, and then a big drop off. That made me rethink that. I know it's just one game and I don't want to overreact, but I'm going to. That made me want to rethink that and put the Rockets back into that. I'll get into why I'm not yet in a second. But what you saw from Thompson and Sengun, and KD was getting the buckets. I wish they would get him involved more. Down the stretch, I get it. You want to feed Sengun. You want to feed the hot hand. But I really wish, and again, we're going to get into it in a minute, I really wish you'd get Kevin Durant involved more. Because a lot of those fourth quarter and overtime possessions, big moments, he kind of was just standing there, and it was like, and Dort and Caruso were playing awesome defense on him. They were ball denying. But I really do wish they would have gotten involved more down the stretch and drawn up a few plays for them. Here's why I'm not yet putting the Rockets in that group. Maybe in 5 or 10 and 15 games, I'll get in there. I thought Reed Shepherd was horrible in that game. I watched the game with my friends. I thought he was unbelievably bad. I thought he was honestly the worst. He was the worst player who touched the floor for the Rockets. He was a liability on defense, first of all. Just short. He looked like he didn't belong in the same court. Outside of shooting, he brought nothing to the table. He brought no playmaking. Nothing on defense. No type of slashing. Nothing. He was purely out there to shoot threes. And that's fine. That can't be a guy you rely on, especially at point guard, for a Rockets team that expects to be in the conference finals. He looked young. He looked out of place. And I did like how he was just out there chucking. He kind of had the Deion Waiters to him, where he made a couple of threes, and you're like, ooh, we could get hot here. But, I thought he was poor from him. 3 for 11, 2 of 7 from 3. Didn't give you anything else. They didn't seem better with him on the court. I thought he was bad. And the stats again wouldn't back it up. 9 points, 4 assists. I thought he was bad. Like genuinely bad. So like if I'm the Rockets and you really want to be that one of those legit contenders, I'm immediately in a few weeks getting on the phone with people trying to find point guards to trade for. I'm throwing Derek White in there. Or not, I'm trying to trade for Derek White. I'm throwing Reed Shepherd in all those trade talks. I'm centering trade around him and those Suns picks. Those Suns and Nets picks is what I'm centering everything around and being like, here you go. Here you go. Because we really need to improve here. This is a must. There's an opening in there. It's we play well against OKC, and I think we got a legit shot here, and I don't want to waste this. And I'm trying to make trades. Okay, I want to talk Lakers. Luka, wow, healthy Luka. It's just hurtful. It just hurts. I mean, he's everything you'd expect. He was one of the best. He was the best player on the floor. He was the best player of the night. I mean, 43 points and a near triple-double, 9 assists, 12 boards. Unbelievable. But it hurt. I mean, it just hurts. I'm never going to get over it. Talked about it Tuesday. I'm never going to get over it. But the Lakers looked like a mess. They looked like a mess. I talked about it Tuesday. I thought a little bit of the hype was I wasn't excited about the Lakers this year. Reeves got in foul trouble fast, so I don't want to talk about him, but it didn't look like he had made any leaps from last year. And the rest of the roster is just bad. It's just bad. I mean, your third best player is DeAndre Ayton, who is one of the most frustrating players in the NBA. Post 2021 Suns, he has been just chaos. And when you have a team that just cuts you. The Blazers just cut him. That raises red flags. And you think, maybe with Luka and LeBron, it might be different. And I get it's just game one. But just watching him post up and shoot the little bunny hooks against, you have guys just short, it just clearly is the size advantage. And it's just, what? What are you doing? Why? What are you doing? Why are you shooting that? Just go up. Your guy's 6'6" on you. You're 7-footer. Just so frustrating. And the Leicester Lakers roster is just bad. So for all LeBron haters saying, "Ooh, this Lakers team doesn't need LeBron," you know what would have helped them win this game? LeBron. You know what would have helped the defense? LeBron. JJ Redick said it. Cookville zone after the game when they were struggling in the zone. Oh, it'd be nice to have in the middle of the zone LeBron. It'd be pretty nice to have him out there. I think this Lakers team's in trouble until he comes back. I really do. I thought, with Luka, it'd be easier to kind of ride the ship. You have the arguably second best player in the NBA. Reeves is good, but the rest of that roster is just bad. And you're in a stacked West where, you're playing You're playing Memphis at home. That's not an easy game. There's no easy games in the West. Outside of Utah, and last night, Utah looked unbelievable. Or Wednesday night, when you're listening to this, Utah looked unbelievable against the Clippers, but there's no easy games in the West, really. There's no Wizards or Nets to eat up on. So, every game's a dogfight in the West, and you need LeBron back. If the Lakers really want to do something, and I don't think they can, it sucks to say this as a LeBron guy and as a Luka guy, but this roster's horrible. And you're starting Gabe Vincent? And Gabe Vincent have 3 points? Just a non-factor. He was out there just getting cardio. So, yeah, Marcus Smart didn't do anything for me. The flopping, the combo of him and DeAndre Ayton, just two of the more frustrating, annoying players to watch play basketball. So, yeah, if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm worried, and especially LeBron's side of it, I don't think LeBron wants to be there. I really don't think LeBron wants to be in LA. I think he wants to be somewhere else. And who knows? Well, we'll see, but yeah. Okay, Warriors. The Warriors were fantastic. But they're closer than what I thought. But I do still think they are. I don't think they've moved. They're clearly not in that upper echelon of the West contenders. But they did look a lot better than I think. I think they're specifically Jimmy and crew. I mean, Jimmy was great. Just a classic Jimmy Butler game. Getting a line 16 times, 31 points. He was unbelievable. Draymond, it was a quintessential Draymond game. Getting a T with 7 minutes into the game. Triple single, just peak Draymond. He was 8.7 assists, 9 rebounds. Unbelievable defense. I honestly thought, as funny as it is to say, I thought he was the best player of the game for the Warriors. What he does to set up the offense, what he does with the ball movement, just how different they are on the floor when he's out there. And it's funny to say because just Draymond is the backpack shooting. He's unbelievable to watch. And it really is just like it's a wow moment whenever he's on the floor. It's like they are so much better with him. He's not just untradeable as Steph, but him and Steph, it's two keys to the offense. And he's the engine. He's the engine of that team. So I do think, like, if they can make a couple of sneaky more moves, I do think that they could. They don't have a lot of assets to trade, but when the Giannis talks heat up, and if they can somehow make that move, then it's like, whoa. But I think they're a few more little pieces away from really becoming in that Nuggets Thunder tier. Again, it's game one. We're 2 days in, but the Warriors and Draymond really, really impressed me. Mavericks, and then we'll talk Wemby, and maybe we're gonna talk a little Clippers, and then we'll go to personal stuff, and then we'll end the podcast. Mavericks. I don't know how much of that was Wemby and how much of that was Dallas. Let's say this. We need a point guard For this year specifically, I think we'll have Cooper Flagg play point guard. We'll have we'll play this massive lineup. I don't love that idea. I thought in the D'Angelo Russell minutes were really our most impressive. Outside of a few careless plays, I thought he played well. And you look at the box score, you wouldn't really say that, but I thought he was very good off the bench, and I think about starting him. I think about tomorrow or tonight when you're watching this, having D'Angelo Russell play point guard and getting PJ Washington off the bench. I thought that was our best point, and we looked the best in that midway through that second quarter. When he was out there and we were cooking with him, AD, Flagg, and Lively. And Max Christie was in there for a little bit. I thought that was a good unit for us. And then, look, Wemby was unbelievable. It was the Wemby show. And I was on Mavs Twitter last night. I was reading stuff this morning. I want to know how much different it was between. I want to know what the difference was of. We're the big team. Mavericks are the huge front court. You have Flagg, AD, and Lively. Those guys are all 6'10 plus. Is Wemby just the kryptonite to that? He's just the ultimate doesn't matter guy, and no matter who you throw at him, they're going to be awesome. He's the destroyer of the big lineup, and it doesn't matter no matter who you face up with Wemby. Or does that lineup not work? That's what we are. That's what the question is, and that's what we'll figure out later in this year. On second thought, I was not impressed by Anthony Davis. I was really not impressed by Flagg, and they didn't make Wemby work at all on the defensive side. We was just blocking whatever. They weren't moving him around, pick and roll. That's what was impressive when D'Lo was in. We were doing those pick and rolls with him and AD. They had the action going. Christie coming off that shooting. Wemby just got to sit down in the paint when we had the starters and he just got to do whatever. And you can't go at Wemby. It's not like, oh, let's go at Wemby. I mean, Flagg multiple times had chances to drive, and then while Wemby's there, I got to pass this out. AD tried to go at Wemby, and he made Anthony Davis, who is arguably the best defensive big of this generation, look like he didn't belong on the same court as him. Victor Wembanyama, I said this to my friends this morning. Victor Wembanyama, you know those videos of like LeBron when he's playing against like the kids he's teaching in camp, or like Joel Embiid when he like was playing on like the street? That's what he made the Mavericks players look. They didn't look like professional athletes compared to him. Like, it was like, are you serious? This is the guy that we're getting in year 3? He had a sequence that was going viral last night and this morning where he starts it off with a layup. On the other end, he blocks Derek Lively. Coming back up the floor, he goes crossover, step back 3 and 1 on Lively. It was, I watched the sequence like 15 times again this morning. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen as far as just a simple sequence in a regular season game. It was one of the most impressive regular season games I've ever seen. It left me speechless. It was like, whoa. It was a whoa moment for me. And it's not like even the rest of the roster. You didn't watch that game and say, whoa, the Spurs are really good. You watched that game and said, oh my God, Victor Wembanyama. I do want to say, I thought Castle looked spectacular. I thought Stephon Castle, first of all, he guarded Flag for a good amount. Unbelievable job on Flag. We'll get to Flag in a minute. Unbelievable job on Flag. All right, Stephon Castle. Again, it's game one. I'm overreacting a lot here, but Castle looked like he made a real leap. And the shooting, the defense looked like it improved. Free throws, he was rough, but I thought he did a spectacular job locking down Flag. Let's get to Flag now. I was expecting a lot from Flag coming into the game. I said, I think on the podcast, actually, Tuesday, I said 21-7-7. That was clearly not the case. But he needs to be more aggressive. There's multiple chances where he was, and I'm a LeBron fan. I watched Luka's whole career, and so there's different levels to these young guys who are supposed to be superstars. And Flag kind of seems like a, let's let the game come to me guy. Luka was not that way. LeBron early on was the let's let the game come to me. I'll figure it out. It kind of seems like Flag is more like that versus Luka, who is more like let's start off hot. Let me get a couple shots in going fast. Flag was a little more slow. He wasn't looking to score as much. He was passing out of a lot. He seemed to be rethinking more. Specifically, there's a couple times where he had the ball and had open shots and would pass them up, either pass the ball back to the guy or he'd take a couple dribbles. He needs to be more aggressive, and maybe that was part of the case. Maybe Kid was like, hey, let's try and feed the other guys. Let's get you going that way. So yeah, I was very meh from Flag. Very meh. And not all great guys have opening nights, and just because you had a great opening night doesn't mean you're going to be a great guy. Michael Carter-Williams, best career opener in NBA history, and we saw what happened there. So, I'm not saying I'm out on Flag or anything, but I do really wish, I was expecting more. I really wish he'd be more aggressive. I look for him to be more aggressive against Washington. So yeah, I was very, very unimpressed from my Mavericks, and I was expecting a lot more. I mean, I was expecting them to win the game, to be quite honest. And I really, really want to see more from Anthony Davis. I thought he's always been a frustrating player for me to watch. I thought his stats say whatever. I thought he was downright bad in that game. Stats, 22 points. I don't care. I thought he was bad. Defensively and offensively. I know it's his game. I don't want to watch you have these little dribble, like cross, and then shoot a free throw line jumper. Get in the paint, dude. Especially when you didn't have Wemby on you. When you got Luke Cornett on you, attack. I don't want to see you shooting threes and jumpers. Go at the rim, dude. See, I was frustrated watching Anthony Davis, and I really want Kyrie coming back. I really want Kyrie. We haven't seen Kyrie and AD play together, so yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for them. All right, let's end with the Clippers, which is a bit of a weird game to end with, I know. But I want to end with the Clippers because of one reason. So I gave out my predictions on Tuesday, and again, it's just week 1, or it's just night 2, and it's game 1. But in my predictions, I said Clippers would get the 6th seed. And I did so because originally I had the Clippers missing the playoffs. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, look, the rosters. I listen to people. I let other people's opinions infiltrate my brain. And I convinced myself that they couldn't miss the playoffs. When I convinced myself they'd stay healthy and they wouldn't miss the playoffs, they were too deep in the organization and the coaching and everything. And I get, again, week 1, night 1, opening night, don't overreact. But I'm going to overreact. I think this whole Kawhi Leonard scandal is going to be over their heads. And I think it's going to affect their play. I think it will affect the whole team. And I don't expect them right now. I expect them to miss the playoffs. I'm being honest. I know it's game 1 and I shouldn't overreact. But I'm selling Clippers now. I'm selling them. That was pitiful. That was a pitiful performance. Utah was all over you. All over you. Kawhi was bad. Bradley Beal was even worse. Didn't really get anything from the bench. John Collins, I thought, actually had an okay game. It was a pitiful, pitiful performance. I do think Utah, as funny as it is, I love everything that Danny Ainge is doing in Utah. I think what all they have with their coaches and like picks and everything they're doing roster construction wise in 5 years, I think the Jazz could be very good because I love Will Hardy. But you saw it 2 years ago, I believe. Either 2 years ago or last year, where they start off hot and they start making trades. We need to be worse. So we'll see what we get from Utah. Maybe they do the same thing this year where they start off really good and then they decline as the year goes on. But from what I saw from the Clippers, that looks like a team that was old and tired and just bad. They just looked bad. So yeah, that's what I got on the NBA. We're gonna get to some personal stuff next segment, and that's gonna be the end of the podcast. Okay, personal segment here. I almost started off with this. I look rough. I've been sick. And being sick. So first of all, I'm in college. There's nothing worse, honestly. I've been sick in the dorm. I've been sick in a big house. There's nothing worse, honestly, than being sick and away from home. It sucks. When I got the flu my freshman year, I'm a junior, and it was horrible. It sucked. It was one of the worst couple days of sickness in my life. You're in the dorm. First of all, your dorm room is just like not a fun place to be when you're just like stuck there. Just mold and stuff in the air. I lived in an old dorm. Mold and stuff in the air conditioner. It's not like you have a big TV or anything in your dorm. I was sharing bathrooms with people. It was communal in not a lofted bed, but like it's not on the ground where it's like easy access. You're having to get food delivered because you're sick. It's horrible. Here, I have an apartment now, which that part's nice. But when you're sick, you don't exactly want to cook. My stomach has been in pain. I think I have food poisoning. Or I had food poisoning. And so I didn't really want to cook. I didn't feel like cooking because I want to go to the grocery store to buy a bunch of stuff, especially because I'm leaving this weekend. And so I was trying to figure out what to get to cook or to eat. And I got Chick-fil-A, chicken noodle soup one night. That was horrible. And then we stumble upon a Panera Bread tonight. And I got to tell you something. I forgot how much I love the Panera chicken noodle soup. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I walk into this Panera. And it's an old school Panera. I think I tweeted this. Something about an old, non-renovated, old fast food restaurant just gets me way more excited than it should. Like when I go into an old Wendy's and it's like still got the old design and the inside looks like they're still going to give you the yellow cartons with chicken. And this Panera was the same. It was it's dark. Like the new Paneras are like bright. This Panera is dark. It just made me feel warm inside. And it's Panera for me was always, I played soccer growing up, and there was a Panera by the airport in Nashville where I'd go, specifically when I was going to and from my dad's. My dad lives in Florida, so I would be going to Panera. So I just have a lot of good memories there with my family. And I don't know why. Something about and it's all at these old dark Paneras. Going there, coming back home from Florida, going to watching NFL games. I watched a number of NFL games at a Panera. Probably way more than I should. And I got chicken noodle soup. And I got a half chicken noodle soup and half whatever sandwich I was feeling that day. And I got an orange scone. And just nostalgia. And I felt all the nostalgia. When you're sick, there's almost nothing better than nostalgia. It just makes you feel warm and it makes you excited and it just makes you happy. And when you're sick, you're not happy. You're throwing up and you're stomach hurts, and you're just like, I want to be anywhere but here. So yeah, those are my sickness and my I love old school. I want to know if anyone else likes these non-reno, like when you walk in and you see an old, like you walk in, it's an old McDonald's, and it's like maybe it still has the play place. You're like, whoa. There's a Burger King in Cookeville where I am from that has a play place, and I hate Burger King. I think Burger King's horrible, but the play place is electric. When you walk in, there's a play place. You're like, this is awesome. So yeah, shout out to the Kingston Pike Panera in Knoxville, Tennessee. Old school, non-renovated. I was thinking about this on my drive home. I think, one, just the nostalgia of it all, and then also, I think the old school, I think the non-renovated restaurants are sometimes they're still family operated, like they're franchisees. They're not like corporate running them. I could be completely wrong about this, but I think that's the case. And so maybe the food's better because like the Cookeville Panera is horrible. Where I am from, we have a Panera. It sucks. This Panera was all time. Chicken noodle soup was awesome. Then I had some autumn squash soup. It was great. Soft bread, awesome. Cookeville, chicken noodle soup's like runny and the bread's hard. The cookies aren't as good. I didn't get a cookie because of my stomach. But yeah, I really need to know this thing about if anyone else gets excited about non-renovated fast food restaurants, because I could just be weird. But yeah. So anyway, that's it for the podcast. Thank you to the listeners, and we're going to keep trying to go. Again, I'm just a kid in college trying to chase my dream of working in sports and talking about sports. So I appreciate all the views. Please tell your friends, tell everybody, and leave a comment, subscribe, do everything, please. And yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys on Monday.